snow. It's like I just like the typical things, snowmen and a tree and everything like that, and evergreens in the snow. And I like the way everything looks in the snow. But in terms of actions, is if it were an action, if it counted at an action, I'd probably just say looking at the snow is my favorite thing, especially indoors with a hot cup of cocoa. So, anyways, I'm gonna try to read 3 tonight if that's okay. They're not long, don't worry. So the first one's called "Hanging Garden Flower." I'm feeling a little bit extra inspired. So, anyways, it comes with a little epigram at the top that I stole from Onitsura. I think that's how you pronounce it. And he says, "Ah, he is not a common man who turns to a flowerless tree." And I just thought that was really good. So, so here's how it goes. Many leaves reside within her garden, many leaves, indeed many. Across the breeze, the gray river, golden bridge, and ladies' laughing faces. Many leaves, many slender, many, all possessed of a smothered envy. Sweet, but for the flower, with its boisterous oranges, yellows, and indigos, the blossom standing neatly in the sun. Who would blame the keeper for a peek while on the run? A cricket lands gently upon his fishing line. Now the blue moon watches soundly. Snow-white capped mountains shift restlessly behind. A glimpse will catch, most assuredly. The willows sing what the wind ordains, while the pond's low notes support in harmony. Her fringes sway askance within the wind, a late afternoon nap tucked between the folds. The blue plums taste so good this evening. The color of your eyes tantalize. I am mesmerized. What if the moon saw your face, knowing distance wide your beautiful name? The swirling eddies only enhance the aura at once, and once again, once, I saw you again, once. Apricot boughs and ferns seem as nothing. The now cloudy skies are ever wanting. I could sit here and think and want the more. I that was once so dandy and sprightly, an American prince out of monarchy, lie jealous of the folds and forays of my lady's hanging garden flower. That's the first one. Thank you. So let's see. The second one was nominated by my publisher for the Pushcart Prize. I'm still not all the way sure what that is. I looked it up afterwards, and I'm still kind of confused. But it sounds like they'll put it in some sort of book. I've never heard of these things. So, anyways, this one's called "Prelude to Soil." Drunk off the waters of Lethe, I remember the harangue set against a fugue which was transmitted through an Ondas Martineau. I, having not known of the letter, planted neath the soil your womb, in utero my seed, a blackened child, her new-framed lullaby delivered to St. Peter, a weed of doubt stuck deep in my mind. And then the last one, this is one of those poems I wasn't sure about writing, but, it's kind of cool. It's kind of about meeting people and being kind of miffed about it. So I'm here on the grid, and I wonder if I'll meet someone worth knowing, worth seeing, worthy. I could see someone distant on the horizon. "How now, young buck," she'd say. "Right. I don't understand you. I appreciate you, but someday you'll find someone who will treasure your quirkiness. I won't read you because I hate poetry, and I can't be your pen pal now or soon. That's just not what I am here for. But I enjoyed our brief, underlined, conversation." Maybe so, but I didn't enjoy it. I feel disheartened and uncomfortable, and I like human beings less now. Thank you. My book's called Early Harvest. It's available online on Amazon and BarnesandNoble.com. Thank you very much. I'm Euphrates Moss.
And a first-time reader here at Soul Food Pro tonight, so thank you. Our next reader has given a really wimpy answer for favorite thing to do in the snow, and that is to sit inside by the fire. Please welcome Mary Crane.
I get out plenty in all kinds of weather. It's just been a season inside by the fire. I'm going to get unapologetically political here. I have a friend who's just completing 2 months on a peace team in the West Bank, and I have some poetry that's been inspired by some of his emails and his blogs. It's either 3 short poems or 1 long one in 3 parts. I haven't decided yet. West Bank, Autumn, 2014. In an ancient city, the markets are stacked with radishes and onions in arched alcoves. In an olive grove, a man in an unpruned tree harvests in a hot, merciless sun. In the corner of his eye, a soldier of the occupation, bored, with ammunition in his gun, tear gas, rubber-coated metal bullets. Mornings while he sleeps, a backhoe might demolish his 100-year-old home, water pipes, and village roads. He might live in an abandoned animal hut built from ancient stone. Best pray at home. Keep off the roads. Stay out of the way of moving cars. Autumn, 2014. Asleep with the lights on, not ready for a knowing in the dark, waiting for the rain. Why are you locked away while all of written history is waiting to unravel? Habit. I stoke the fire hotter than I need, warm wind exhaling down the valley. Afraid to write, I clutch at tepid tea and fat tomes of poetry. It's not a matter of deserving. We all want to be loved more than the world. November 2014. Snow falls in all its beauty on top of a flood. Water shimmers in the cold. A pair of bald eagle frolic on a gravel bar, satiated with irradiated fish. Across the globe, 2 young men at a peaceful demonstration against the separation wall are shot in the chest by soldiers of the occupation. It's not so different for young men of another culture closer to home, where I am ashamed to be white. And I have one more that's totally different. I'm reading this tonight because I believe as poets we all steal one another's lines from time to time. Sometimes another poet will say the line or the phrase or the expression that unlocks the one that's been rattling around in our brain. And the one I'm reading tonight has a line that was stolen from Michael Dillon Welsh. Stolen. Eggshells. Windows left open to the rain. Doors agape let insects in and out to gather against the screens. Spiders spin deftly into corners, drop clustered egg sacs. I cultivate a web of life. My children's cracked shells scatter across the earth like seeds aloft on the wind. I strain to remember robin egg blue, cradled in a thicket. Hummingbird nestled on a berry twig. Time is not a metaphor. Thank you.
I confess I don't know which line of that was mine. Yes, that's right. I remember that now. Yes. Thank you. I'm flattered. I haven't been stolen before. Our next reader is John Lubina, who likes to snowshoe in the snow. Welcome, John.
Yeah, it was kind of a toss-up between snowshoeing and something else, but I'll just leave it at snowshoeing. This first poem was inspired by someone that I tried to give a hug to, who just freaked out. I thought the poor woman was going to have a seizure. And it's interesting because I'm sure you may have heard or not that an 8-second hug, a hug of 8 seconds or longer duration, releases oxytocin. Sorry about that. Yeah. Usually I project enough that people don't need a microphone. But at any rate, and that's the trust hormone. And also, interestingly enough, I recently read that oxytocin release will upregulate certain genes that are associated. There's some evidence that oxytocin upregulates genes that are associated with youthful expression of gene products and things. So not only does it make you feel good, it can actually make you younger on a cellular level. Anyway, it's called hugs. Hugs seem so natural, easy, free, and human. Embraces connect us, break down what separates. Long hugs rejuvenate, revive, jumpstart our youth. Awkward feelings arise, no romance need be felt. Uncomfortable closeness, held ramrod straight and stiff. Learn to be easy, free, find joy being human. Remember that my hug celebrates both our lives. And then this is my first real winter up here. And I had never really seen hoarfrost before, or really seen it. And it's like, wow, this is so cool. Anyway, this is called On the Trail. I walk the trail alone in the winter morning. My breath mists the cold air. Pure white hoarfrost ribbons push up the brown litter like winter's daffodils. Delicate ice crystals crunch loudly under boots. Powder outlines each step. The silence presses in, and the coldness turns thoughts to you and me and us. I would have done anything had you but asked me, but you never knew how. Somehow all your failures became all my faults, and we ended up here, I alone on this trail, in the winter morning, waiting for the spring thaw. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Our next reader has, as we've heard before, traveled the farthest to be here. Ramesh Anand has come all the way from India and came all the way here just for tonight, as I'm sure, yes. Actually, he works for a company in India and is here on a consulting gig. And I'm very pleased that you've come to the reading tonight. And I think the fact that where you live probably doesn't get much snow is why you left the answer blank for your favorite thing to do in the snow. Ramesh Anand.
Good evening, everyone. So you put up Michael, you put up a question to me on snow. So I thought of a haiku and written. I'm not sure if it has come good. Snow in my wife's womb, I feel my prenatal. Snow in my wife's womb, I feel my prenatal. Okay. So I'm going to read some Japanese short forms. Haiku and tanka particularly. So haiku is an image poem. Basically it has to be imaged as I read. I'm going to take you through seasons. Yeah. Spring dream. A rooster stirs the stillness into dawn. I'm going to repeat. Spring dream. A rooster stirs the stillness into dawn. Distant hill. A river carrying the spring. Distant hill. A river carrying the spring. Lake sunrise. A duckling sets off downstream. Lake sunrise. A duckling sets off downstream. peak hour, a flock of sparrows pass the evening moon. Peak hour, a flock of sparrows pass the evening moon. Rice fields, bent woman reaping gossip. Rice fields, a bent woman reaping gossip. Autumn sky, patches of twilight in the falling leaf. Autumn sky, patches of twilight in the falling leaf. The last haiku. October drizzle, the naturalist returns the call of a falcon. October drizzle, the naturalist returns the call of a falcon. Next, I'm going to read some tanka. Tanka is basically a 5-line verse which contains emotional element in it along with nature. With my child on my shoulder, I walk in the long rain, carrying the heaviness after. With my child on my shoulder, I walk in the long rain, carrying the heaviness of my shattered dreams. I repeat, with my child on my shoulder, I walk in the long rain, carrying the heaviness of my shattered dreams. So this one I wrote when I came to US last time. Across the border, everything feels fresh, except this loneliness in me being without you. Across the border, everything feels fresh, except this loneliness in me being without you. The last tanka. A monarch flutters against the train window. I set it free from my fingertips and wing along with it. A monarch flutters against the train window. I set it free from my fingertips and wing along with it. Thank you. Hope you enjoyed it. And thanks a lot to Michael for showing me this opportunity. Every time I give him a call, he invites me to read poems. I enjoy it. Thanks. And last but not least, Jill, I thoroughly enjoyed your poems. I wish I can also read like you in the future. I'm going to get trained on that. Yeah, thanks a lot.
Thank you. You live in, is it Hyderabad? Or where do you live? Okay. Do they have poetry readings there like we have here? Not much? Well, you could start one. Okay. Our next reader is Maddie Schreier, and she drew a picture, it looks like, of her favorite thing to do in the snow, which is to leave the line completely blank. So please welcome Maddie Schreier.
My friend was supposed to write down sledding because I like sledding with my siblings, but I guess she didn't. I also really like waking up in the middle of the night when I know that it's going to snow and just kind of looking out on all the trees and stuff to see the snow falling. Okay, I'm going to read 3 poems tonight, and all 3 of them are actually from past relationships. One of them is a breakup poem, one of them is beginning of a relationship, and one of them is middle of a relationship. So the first one, I'll do the breakup. It's called On the Floor. My blank walls remind me too much of the ceiling I stared at when we made love in your room. You sent me flowers last week, and today they started to die. So I hung them up to dry, kind of like what you're doing to me. My walls still look like the white of your eyes and the flash of your teeth as you smiled softly down at me. Your walls were decorated with the most of me, not the best nor the worst. They were embellished with the whole of me I've been giving up to you. I keep asking you to hang up pieces of you too, but you're still sitting in the corner by the door. Okay, this is another one called flat, and this was in the middle of the relationship. Flat. Flat is the emotion when you realize that your soda pop isn't made of bubbles, the ones that tickle your nose and make your eyes tear up. Flat is the emotion when you wake up on a Sunday morning and realize that you have nothing to do all day. Flat is the emotion when you realize you can't breathe anymore, you can't write anymore, you can't live anymore. Flat is the line on the heart monitor that shows the inside of the haunted cages you call ribs. Flat is the face I look at in the mirror these days. Flat is something I should not have to scale. That would be a mountain, a finite hump to get over. How am I supposed to climb this barren, never-ending desert you call love? And the last one was the beginning of a relationship. It doesn't have a title, so I'm just going to read it. I was sitting there, staring at the way you turned down the left side of your mouth, trying to hide a sunrise smile from rising too early. You turn away because you can't look at me for too long. I find it cute. A wave washed over me and held me under for a night, so the salt water could drench my eyes and clear my lungs. As the sea drained and allowed for my shocked breaths and awakened eyes again, I looked at you like you were the Pacific Ocean, and I was just trying to find the nerve to dip my toes in your whitewash. Thank you.
Thank you, Maddie. Was this your first time reading for Soul Food Poetry Night? Yay! Our next reader is Alika West, and it's your first time too? Oh, okay. Good. And her favorite activity in the snow is to go sledding, which I think is the number one answer tonight. Alika.
Hi, I'm Alika, and I have a couple poems. The first one doesn't have a title, but I like to think it may be called California. And there are days you miss California, but the Pacific And there are days you miss California, but the Pacific sky smiles seamlessly upon you, and you are mesmerized by moments and memories, blessed by breaths of bliss, grateful for the grace the universe has granted your grounds, and for the friends that free you from false fortune. Broke as the next person's pocket, finding true treasures in trees and happiness in hearts. And there are days you miss California, and you want to make a difference in the world, because you're one family, one humanity, one planetary system counting dollars without smiles, high on horses instead of health and happiness. We are all together, we are all each other, flying foreignly through infinity, in fear of failure, unaware that love is the only answer, but maybe you just miss adventure. And the second one is like a series of poems that I had to write for my sexuality class this last fall, and we were told to pick an aspect of sexuality and write about it, and I chose hands. And so it's called, it's a good thing there's no kids in here. That's all I'll say. It's called All Hands on Dick. One sec, it didn't capture the whole thing. Hopefully it's right there. Oh no. Okay. Thanks. Thank you guys. Alright. All hands on deck. Oh no. No, just kidding. Alright. All hands on deck. Sex without hands would be like your favorite song without the words. A summer sky without a sun to warm your face and smile to. Sex without hands would be like eating your favorite food lukewarm, whether your favorite food is cold or hot. Sex without hands would be like a kiss without lips, an ocean without water, your bed without blankets, sleeping in wet clothes, or a dance without proper speakers. Sex without hands would be like sex without hands, dry, inharmonious, defective. hands are sex. I want to hold your prehensile multi-fingered extremity. Will our phalanges fit together like they belong forever? Can I trace your metacarpals like mountains on a horizon? Your lateral bands, central slip, there is no spaces between our thinner spaces. 5 fingers and a palm, we come from monkeys. Opposable this, opposable that. Monkey see, monkey do, I'd like to finger bang you. Lesbians don't have real sex. My ass lesbians don't have real sex. What do you even know about real sex? You don't even know the anatomy of a damn vagina. The way girls are supposed to be worked on. What way are girls supposed to be worked on? Fuck your standards, bitch. But because I can touch you on the inside. Raw with the same hands I wrote a poem with. The same hands I used to cook fabulous food. The same hands I used to guide my steering wheel safely home. With the same hands I used to strum an instrument, take a photo, turn a page, paint a picture, I can touch you on the inside. Raw with the same hands that live my life for me. And with my hands, I leave my life in you. They are the first step, holding hands. They feel like they've been there all my life. They are the first base and the start to the second as our lips embrace. They are the third base when her breasts feel like moons and her hips a galaxy that only some men will fly to. They are the fourth when my hands hold the small of her back. She's the best sport I've ever played. They are the fifth base because now the game is over. She wants the silver band and you the gold. They are vital to the sixth base when you hold her for the first time in the bright, over-sanitized room. It feels like you're holding the universe. It was so worth the 9 months of nausea, craving, and mood swings. Her whole hand wraps around your index finger like it is her only life source, a wizard's wand or a staff that will nurture creation. My hands will soon change her diaper, help her walk, ride a bike, do her math homework, drive her to first soccer practice, hug her when the boy she likes breaks her heart, hand her a plane ticket to her desired destination, shake his hand, walk her down the aisle, hold her child, be the last thing I ever feel when I'm on my deathbed. But for now, her hands wrap around my index finger, and I've run home. The hand is emotional, with the fierce ability to tear away at the world, riddled with pain and anguish, and at other times placid and relaxed, caressing a tear from the cheek of a lover, or infinitely bound to the actions of giving.
I think that's a line I'd like to steal. Our next reader is Ava Moon. And under favorite thing to do in the snow, I wondered if it would go in this direction. Has had sex in a snowbank.
Thank you. This is not only my first Soul Food Books poetry reading, it's my first poetry reading night ever, either as an attendee or as a reader. But I thought I would just go ahead and dive in. And I don't have my glasses, so we'll see how this goes. This is a piece about holiday stress. I thought it would be, since it's almost Christmas and we're into Hanukkah, that I would do something that celebrates both. One holiday would be enough to make the season really tough. But I have a mashed up family with Hanukkah by the Christmas tree. Holiday insanity is going to be the death of me. And you don't know how glad I'd be if Rudolph was a Maccabee. So, come on, let's light the fucking candles. Light the fucking candles. Let's light the fucking candles one more time. Fry the latkes, bake the ham. Ask me if I give a damn. Santa, loosen up your belt. You had too much chocolate gelt. Let's light the fucking candles. Light the fucking candles. Oh, light the fucking candles one more time. So let this nightmare end at last. With Hanukkah and Christmas past, shove it all till later when the Easter Bunny comes for Seder. Let's light the fucking candles. Light the fucking candles. Yes, let's light the fucking candles one more time. Thank you.
When we started this reading series, I asked Clint McCune how he felt about, this is 9 years ago, we've been doing this for 9 years. I asked him how he felt about swearing. And he said, say it if you mean it. Which I think is, if you think about it, you know, mean it. Don't be gratuitous. So you clearly meant it when you said Easter Bunny. Okay. Do you want to tell us about, do you have some drama coming up? Tell us about that. Excellent. It's always nice to have a successful Kickstarter. Thank you. Okay. So, right under where Eva wrote, has had sex in a snowbank, our next reader wrote what she said. Not together? I don't know. Aaron Brulette, come on up. Okay.
So I've taken it upon myself every time Poetry Open Mic happens. I've been working here for 3 years, and so I've seen about 36 of these, just about, because I'm always here on Thursdays. So maybe 30. I can count like 6 weeks that I might not have been around for. But anyway, I've seen a lot of them, and so I've taken it upon myself as soon as this starts to try to write something poetic, and if I finish, to read it. And so I found this piece of cardboard, and I wrote this poem on it. It's short, and it might not be as fiery, but it touches on the subject. Speak sweetly your passions, for they work much in the fashion of a rose growing amongst vines. Oh, and I can think of no reason, be it timing or season, why ever this rose should die. So strengthen your nerves by steeling your reserve. Only then will you touch the divine. And at this highest of peaks, from where sweet cherubs speak, sally forth, for next comes the decline.
Thank you, Aaron. We should obviously have longer readings to make sure you finish whatever you're writing. Our last open mic reader tonight is Angie Borrow, who likes snowboarding in the moonlight, and she also has some music for us. Welcome, Angie.
Thanks, guys. I just came here by chance, and I like this coffee shop, and I'm back in the neighborhood, and I'm glad to be back in the neighborhood. And it was really exciting because I didn't know that I was going to hear all this cool poetry, and I did, and I loved it, all of it. And I'm not going to, I'm just going to play and like let you guys do your thing because I play every night anyway. I'm here, so I'm going to just play and don't mind me. But I just want to thank everybody for your beautiful words and Soul Food Coffee House. And my name is Angie Bovo. and if you've never been in the snow in the moonlight, if you ever get a chance, it's like so quiet that it's haunting. It's cold, and you can see your breath, and it feels really dangerous. It probably is. And you probably never should. And maybe that's why I love it the most. Snowboarding in the moonlight. I'm going to Utah tomorrow to go snowboarding in the moonlight.
Thank you, Angie. As some of you know, I'm Canadian and grew up in Winnipeg and central Alberta. And the coldest temperature I ever experienced was in Alberta, It's minus 54. And this is dangerous. You've heard about like spitting and watching your spit freeze in midair. Opening your mouth could kill you. So no, you don't want to try that. But I did. I tried anyway, and learned the hard way. It's not fun. But yeah, it freezes in midair. So one thing that was really interesting about that experience was how incredibly quiet it was, and how you could hear things literally miles away, just with utter clarity. It was because it's so still. The air is so unmoving. That's why it's so cold. It's so still, and the stillness of it's just incredible. If you've ever experienced it, it's not an experience I'd wish on most people, but if you do experience it is incredibly quiet. Another thing that comes to mind is a few years ago for Christmas, our family went to visit my sister in Winnipeg, and on Christmas night, our family was staying at a bed breakfast called Cowan's Castle. It was a huge old Victorian mansion, and we were up on the 3rd or 4th floor with a turret and everything. And the kids had to go to bed. This was a few years ago. They were 3 or 4 or something like that. And they went to bed around 7 or 8, and I was still up. I had lots of energy or whatever. And so I went for a walk outside, and it started to snow. And it wasn't really cold, but it was just crisp and really quiet, and the snow was falling gently, and it just felt like a wonderful way to end the Christmas day that time. And when I walked for about an hour, and then it was like 9 o'clock. I go to bed at midnight, and the kids were asleep in this big room we were sharing. And so I stayed up in the lobby and wrote about 100 haiku about snow, which was a lot of fun. And I also wrote some other pieces as well. I thought I'd close tonight by reading something unrelated to snow. This is the poem that has the line that Mary stole. This is a poem called Things Haiku Say. Things exist. Brevity is an art. The world is a joy. The world changes. One represents many. Color, shades, meaning. Rain falls on everything. Each season takes its turn. The world breeds ambiguity. You have feelings about things. Echoes and shadows are also real. An image can be heard and tasted. You don't always notice everything. The glass is half full and half empty. Relationships develop between objects. Intuition reigns for writers and readers. The time of day is not always a metaphor. Sometimes it's enough to notice something. Harmony can surprise you as much as contrast. The thing is what it is, but only what it is to you. Now is ephemeral, but now is all we have ever had. Sometimes you change the world, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you change with the world, sometimes you don't. A flower matters, and so does a stone, a rusty bolt, a boring sunset. Wonder is a fuel. Thank you.